Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Zodiac Mandala. I have all of my pieces cut out, as should you, and this one's going to go together very quick. And just like our card, this one is customizable. We've included symbols for all of the signs of the Zodiac, as you can see here. So if you're making this for someone or for yourself, obviously you want to pick out the symbol that you want to highlight and put in the center of the design. And also we have a little gold backing for it. So in our case, it's this beautiful turquoise color, which is actually, this is AC Cascade, American Crafts Cascade. And if your design or the symbol that you picked has some little details on it, don't forget to get a little bit of glue on those little details. And I'm doing Leo because my name is Leo. People always ask me, hey Leo, are you a Leo? I'm like, no, I'm actually a Virgo. But whatever, I thought this design looked really cool, so I'm gonna go with this one because it's nice and strong and fierce, and that looks cool on its own. Okay, so we've got that. This little piece ultimately is gonna go right here. So let's just start putting these together. You're going to have one piece like this and another piece like this. You can see here that the filigree here is a little bit thicker and it's thinner on this side. And we're just going to glue one to the other right on top. It's the same width and height, so there's no guessing at all. Now, because there's so much detail here, what I would suggest doing is doing this in segments. So I'm going to divide this thing in half. I'm going to go about halfway down and then try to get as much glue on these little details as possible. You don't want to cake it on, but I don't mean to, what I'm saying is don't put globs of glue on it, but what I'm saying is don't put globs of glue on it, just try to cover as much surface area. You can go easy on the glue, just need to cover as much surface as we can. Okay, and then again, since it fits perfectly onto that square, that's all you need to do, just to line it up. Make sure that it's perfectly lined up. Okay, check all four corners and make any little slight adjustments if necessary. And then press that down. Again, we only have the top half with glue on it. And the cool thing is that now that the top half is glued down, it's really not going to move. And then what we can do is flip it over and peel this up, and then apply glue to the rest of it. And then we just drop it in place. And you can do little dots, you can do little perforated bits of glue, however you feel comfortable. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more up there. Again, we don't need to get glue on every single inch, and then literally just drop it and it will find its place because we have the top half already lined up. If you have a brayer, you could use that. Okay, there we go. And so what we're going to do is, you'll notice that your download comes with these two little pieces. These are just little brackets. This is a full sheet of 12 by 12 paper. Okay, it doesn't need to be cut. And one thing I noticed about this is that there's a blemish on here. I want to make sure that when I put this on, it covers it up. Okay, so that looks great. It's covering it up. I'm going to keep it in this orientation. And this little bracket here, you can put it up in the top left corner. And what you can do is, and I would use like a little pencil so that it doesn't mark it too much, or even something pointy like a hibachi stick, where instead of actually leaving anything on the surface, you can just kind of see it. Okay, so I just kind of ran my hibachi on the inside corner here to make a little mark, because what we're going to do is we're going to pop dot this right at that point. Okay, and I've noticed just from experience that this thing, sometimes it does help to just kind of look at it visually before you place it too, because this may not always be the most accurate. Okay, I see my little mark there. So let's flip this over and we can begin applying our foam squares. So we're gonna start off by applying some foam squares to this. Now, you can see here that I have some black marks on this, and that's because I started off with some smaller foam squares, but I did find some larger ones that take up a little bit more space. They're about 1/2 inch instead of 1/4 inch. So that's gonna save me some time since this will cover more surface area. I'm gonna do one in the center, and then let's kind of add a few here and there, like that. I think that's good. You can flip it over and give it the old push test and see if it kind of bends too much in any area. I think that's plenty. And then what you can also do to kind of fill in some of the little smaller areas to keep this thing nice and firm is you can cut these in half so that they fit in these little nooks and crannies here. Okay, and that's just gonna help support it a lot better. Okay, so we're starting off with this guy here. Make sure none of that is poking through. Okay, and then let's see, let's just put one last one there. Okay, so we'll peel the backing off of this. Now remember, you either drew in your markers or just kind of etched them in so that they're not visible. You don't want to use a really dark colored pen when doing that. Do something light so it blends in, but it's still visible. Okay, we'll peel the backing off of all of these and get this thing in place, and then we're going to start on the next layer. I think the back layer, I would do 2 layers on this, just because we want to create some nice separation between the back layer and that middle layer. Okay, so this really doesn't matter, because no matter how you do it, it's the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply this to the full sheet of 12 by 12 here. This is a full 12 by 12 sheet, and I'm actually going to stand up and do this. I've noticed that if you do it from an angle, you don't always get it right the first time. And I just want to make sure that it's nice and centered. Here we go. And that looks good. Okay, so some nice depth, and you can see the nice shadows in there. That's really going to make it pop. Okay, so next, I'm going to start working on that next layer. And actually, before we do that, I can do one other thing here. This purple piece is going to go right here in the center, like a little puzzle piece. So we can go ahead and glue that down. Okay, just get that right in place. And then we can take our symbol, and I'm going to use some foam squares on that to give that a little bit of dimension as well. So let's do that. We'll throw maybe 4 or 5 on here. Maybe a few extra right out to the edge in some spots, just to keep it nice and flat and even. Okay. And we're going to center this onto the purple piece. And then we just have 2 more layers to put on along with some stars. And then the rest of it is going to be bling. So definitely get your rhinestones and your pearls out and use those to your heart's content. This is a perfect piece for it. Okay, nice and centered, nice even border all the way around. In my case, it's purple. And that looks cool just as is. All right, now grab these 2 pieces. Okay, the purple is going to go behind the white in my case. Let's put this off to the side for just a second. And just like we did with that first layer, I think it's a good idea to kind of separate this into 2 segments. Okay, go easy on the glue here, but definitely try to cover as much surface as possible. Okay, and then of course, work a little bit of glue into these little details. You don't have to go crazy. Just a little dot here or there. We'll keep it in place for us. And then we'll take this, and this matches up perfectly. So there's no glue on that bottom part, so you can kind of use that as your guide. I'm looking at the little circle cutout, and then just dropping that right into place. Going to lift it up and give it a little nudge, a minor adjustment here or there to make sure that it's all nice and aligned all the way around. Okay, there we go. And now we can press that down, make sure everything's making good contact up to the middle here. And then just like we did before, we can flip it over and peel this back and just get the other half in place. Okay, so the glue's on there, just dropping it in place. Should line up perfectly. And then we'll press that down. There we go. Flip that over, give it a push from the outside. And just like we did before, we're gonna flip this over and begin applying our foam squares. And try to find some nice thick ones here. Let's see. I think these are a little bit thicker than the black ones. Yeah, these are just a tiny bit thicker. I'm gonna go with those. The backing on these is it's a little more difficult to get off, but it's okay. I will sacrifice that for the fact that it's a little bit thicker. So starting in the corners, just kind of working the perimeter. It looks like I didn't get enough glue on this little area here. If that happens to you, not a big deal. Don't start pulling at it, ripping it apart. Just grab a scrap piece of paper, throw a little bit of glue on it, and just paint the glue between the layers, right where it needs it, and just press that down. And just give it a little extra love. So that's all it needs. Okay, there we go. Now while it's upside down, we'll continue with the foam squares, and then the rest is pretty much history. This is a very quick little project. If you wanted to customize this even further, you can grab your vinyl, cut out the person's name, and put that on the glass. That could look really cool. I might just do that, depending on who I'm making this for. I'm not much into horoscopes lately. I used to when I was younger. But it was more or less just entertainment. Definitely get my guidance from the man up above and not from these things. But they're pretty popular and they're kind of fun sometimes. Not to be taken seriously though. But I'm a big fan of space, and astrology is pretty cool. There's definitely something to it as far as, how certain signs are certain things. Actually, I have a book that shows compatibility between different signs. So I think there's something to that as far as personality and such, but I don't know that I would cast my fate to the stars. Really pretty though, that's for sure. Okay, so now this one is going to go right on top of this layer. Okay, just make sure that it's nice and aligned at the top. If you get the top aligned and the two sides aligned, the bottom should just fall into place like so. Beautiful. Okay, and then finally, we have these little stars that are going to go here, and we're actually going to use some foam squares on those as well. So we'll take the gold, and in my case, gluing the gold to, I believe that's the same color. Yeah, it is actually. That's AC Cascade or Pool, one of the two. Get that nice and centered on the blue portion of the star. So there's 4 of those that we need to glue together. And You know, for those of you that are looking for a nice quick project, this is it. The machine does all the heavy lifting, and there's only a few layers to glue together. This one's going to go together really quick and make a really cute little gift for someone that's into astrology. Make it for a teenager's room too. I know teenagers are really into their love horoscopes and such. So that could be cool. Bundle it with the card and the bundle. Bundle it with the card and the bundle. Really need to work on my copy skills. Okay, last one here. I think one little foam square on each of these will be plenty. And then I'm going to spend a little bit of time after the video here applying some rhinestones or maybe even some pearls, we'll see, onto these little sections here. So make sure you take a look at the final photo of the project to see where I added those. And if you want to follow along, you're welcome to do that. We'll have a nice high-res picture of the end result. So you're welcome to take a peek. But again, this little star here is going to go right there. Nice little touch of dimension to an already elegant piece. Very cool. I'm guessing that somebody in Dreamville or Dreamtown is going to put some lights behind this thing somehow to really light it up, and that could be really cool too. Okay, there we go. And I didn't ink any of this. I don't really think it needs it, but you could. It may be hard to ink the filigree in there, but you could try. Okay, and that last star. There we go. All right, so again, don't forget to bling it out. But at this point, I just want to see what it looks like in the shadow box. I'm sure it's going to look great. So that fits in there perfectly. Let's put a lid on it so we can keep it in place nice and snug. And let's have a look. Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So that's going to do it, guys. There is the end result. Looks wonderful. Definitely use some foils. Even glitters would look great on this to really bling it out. But that's going to do it. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, please take a moment, visit us on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, there's a little bell you can click on so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official, where you'll find myself and over 40,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So I had a blast, hope you did too, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.